Hello, everyone. I'm Angela Lee Duckworth. When I was teaching math to 7th graders in New York City public schools, I started to notice something unusual. The students who excelled weren't always the ones with the highest IQ or the most natural talent. They were the ones who kept going. They had something deeper, a resilience, a drive, and it made me think. Maybe success, whether in academics, career, or life, is more about mental strength than we give it credit for. Today, I want to talk about something we often overlook in our pursuit of success, our mental health. Because managing your mind isn't just about avoiding burnout or coping with stress. It's about building the kind of emotional resilience that allows you to show up every day as your full self. Just like grit determines long-term success, managing your mental health determines whether you even make it to the finish line. When we talk about strength, especially in competitive environments, school, work, leadership, we often think about performance, productivity, or toughness. But mental health has long been treated like a separate thing, as though it's a side issue, a personal battle to fight in private. The truth is, mental health is central to every kind of strength we need to thrive. It's not something you fix only when it breaks. It's a system like your immune system, and it needs maintenance, protection, and reinforcement every day. Building strength in mental health starts with changing how we think about it. If someone goes to the gym to strengthen their body, we admire their discipline, but when someone takes time for therapy, or sets boundaries, or says no to something because they're overwhelmed, it's often seen as fragile or selfish. This thinking has to shift. Managing your mental health requires awareness, courage, and a deep level of self-respect, all of which are hallmarks of true strength. In fact, it often takes more strength to acknowledge anxiety, burnout, or depression than it does to hide it. And the act of naming those emotions, of creating space for them instead of denying or suppressing them, is itself an exercise in resilience. Emotional awareness is not indulgent, it's strategic. You can't improve what you don't acknowledge. And you can't lead others effectively, whether it's in a classroom, a company, or your family, if you're disconnected from your own emotional landscape. Building mental strength also means learning how to recover, how to bounce back from stress, from failure, from disappointment. That recovery isn't passive, it takes intention. Just like muscle recovery in sports requires rest, hydration, and nutrition, mental recovery requires rest, reflection, and often connection with others. It's about proactively building routines that protect your energy and keep you grounded, especially when things get chaotic. This is where practices like mindfulness, journaling, breathing exercises, or just 5 minutes of quiet can become more than just self-care trends. They're tools, they're reps at the mental gym, and the more you use them consistently, not just when things fall apart, the more resilient your mind becomes. What you're doing is increasing your capacity to hold stress without becoming overwhelmed by it. And maybe most importantly, we need to teach this to each other. Parents need to model it for their kids. Managers need to support it in their teams. Friends need to encourage it in one another. Because when we treat mental health as a strength to build, rather than a problem to hide, we create a culture that empowers everyone to thrive, not just survive. When we think about improving our mental health, it's easy to imagine we need to make huge, life-changing decisions. Maybe you picture moving to a new city, quitting your job, going on a long retreat, or completely overhauling your routine. These dramatic changes can be powerful, yes, but they're often unsustainable, overwhelming, or simply not realistic for most people. The real truth is this: small, consistent habits are more powerful than big, dramatic changes, because change doesn't come from one-time effort. It comes from showing up every day, even in small ways. Mental health, like physical health, thrives on consistency. One workout won't make you fit, just like one moment of deep breathing or one day off won't fix burnout. What makes the difference is what you do repeatedly. Small actions done over time create momentum. They form patterns, they build resilience, and they reshape how you think, how you feel, and how you respond to the world. For example, something as simple as starting your day without looking at your phone can shift your mindset. Taking 5 minutes in the morning to breathe deeply, write in a journal, or just sit in silence can set the tone for a calmer, more focused day. On their own, these habits might seem too small to matter, but when practiced daily, they start to rewire your stress responses, help regulate your emotions, and create a sense of control and grounding. The same goes for sleep, hydration, movement, connection, and gratitude. None of these require huge investments of time or energy. But when they become daily habits, they create a stable mental foundation. Think of them as building blocks. One habit may not solve everything, but together, over time, they build a structure strong enough to support you through life's inevitable ups and downs. Another important reason small habits work is because they reduce the friction to getting started. When you set the bar too high, like meditating for an hour a day or journaling 10 pages, you're less likely to keep going. But if your goal is just to sit still for 1 minute or to write a single sentence, it becomes manageable, and once you start, it's often easier to keep going. This is how habits stick, not through willpower alone, but through ease and repetition. Small habits also build self-trust. Every time you follow through on a small commitment to yourself, you send a message to your brain, "I can rely on me." That sense of self-trust is one of the most powerful aspects of mental health. It creates confidence, not in your ability to control everything, but in your ability to respond well no matter what comes. There's nothing wrong with wanting transformation or big goals. But if you really want to improve your mental health in a sustainable way, look to the small things you can do today and do them again tomorrow. Over time, they will add up to something far greater than any single dramatic change ever could.